Okay. So today I have Amanda Carr with us. And Amanda, if you don't know, is an amazing singer. She does jazz, she's done rock, she's been uh, the MC for the July concert on the Esplanade, all kinds of amazing things. And Amanda is someone who keeps reinventing herself. So is that what it takes to be younger? And how do you relate to it? To all
Yeah, people have often said, oh, Amanda, you're constantly reinventing yourself. And I guess that's one way to put it. I always think I'm not reinventing myself. I'm just finding new aspects of myself to explore. So it's still me, but I'm embracing challenges and changes in my life, different perceptions. And I really want to explore my potential in the healthiest of ways. So sometimes I can be doing the same thing from a new angle. And it just parallels my inner evolution and growth. I'm a big, personal growth seeker. And oftentimes that is just going to reflect in my outer world. So my whole thing is I want to focus on being, and then the doing is a byproduct. That programming is what drives us many times. So we're 95% unconscious program, and we're only 5% of really conscious thinking. And so really it's becoming aware of what's our programming. And I think it starts with asking ourselves why, and then answering ourselves honestly, why am I really doing this? Why is it that I'm, going here? Why is it that I'm with this person? Why is it that I'm pursuing this? And if you keep asking yourself why and answering and then asking again, you drill down to some pretty serious truths. And many times people don't want to face that, because then it invites you to make some changes that, that are uncomfortable, and you can never grow while you're comfortable.
So I'm wondering if it's scarier to jump off a cliff and ask yourself who you are and follow that, or scarier to live a life where you're not feeling it's authentic. Which one?
Well, I think we like the devil we know. I mean, people like, they like familiarity. They, so even if it's crummy, it's familiar crummy.
Right.
So, people want to just kind of, ignorance is bliss. Not that people are ignorant and in terms of like being unaware, but when you're unaware, you're just unaware, and you just kind of go on, and you're not really aware of those deeper levels. But I think there are certain things that oftentimes put us in a position where we're asking ourselves questions. Sometimes it's a major physical setback. And then people begin to look at things differently, and they say, you know what, I only have so much energy, and I don't want to spend it doing this. Or they look at life a different way. Sometimes it's a big breakup, a heartbreak. Sometimes it's a big financial debacle. Whatever those life, turning points are, often present opportunities for people to shift and look at things in a way, because everything's shattered. So now this is the perfect opportunity to plant new seeds in new soil. And that is a common story with people that are uber successful. That they're going to tell you about that turning point, and oftentimes it's a traumatic moment.
Right. Yeah, I can certainly relate to that. So,
yeah, and I think many of us can. I mean, those of us that aren't young, we have more stories to tell, more things that have happened to us, and more of a chance of things happening to us. I mean, nobody goes through this life perfectly clean and squeaky with no events, and white picket fencing it from womb to tomb. I certainly don't want to live that way. I want to be presented with experiences that help me expand. And if you take your cues from nature, nature will show you. A lot of times it's blasting through things where that beautiful beautiful gem comes out of. Sometimes it's intense pressure for something beautiful to evolve. So, we're no different, but it really comes down to being able to, for me, live my best life and really challenge myself with a conscious path.
So you were telling me earlier about what you're doing now. So talk about that for a minute, because I bet people might like to hear about what you're doing. Okay.
Yeah. So, I've been doing the music thing for many years because, oh, you're so good at it, or you should, or this is what you're supposed to do, or, you hear that
I hope
feedback
you
all the
enjoyed
time.
it, at least.
Yeah, I did. There are aspects. The business part I didn't enjoy terribly, but the 90% of what you have to do to get to the 10% you love, sometimes it can take a toll. Yeah. And then you get more creative on how to just get to the good stuff. But at the time that I really made a shift in my career or added something to what I was already doing, I was running a radio station out in Worcester as an executive director. A position that, just was way over my head. I was up for the challenge, but it really, although I learned a lot about myself and, I certainly don't regret the experience. And I think that I did a lot of really good things for and with the station. It really just made me miserable. I was miserable, and it really brought me to a point where I had to ask myself, like, what is it that you really want to do? And so I knew that the gifts that I had, or the traits that I had, or the things that really brought me joy, or it was connecting with people. And I do that with music, but I'm intuitive, and I'm tactile, and I love one-on-one. And I decided to go to school for massage therapy because it was accessible. You don't have to spend 8 years in school, but you really have to learn all 12 systems of the body. It's endless learning. I mean, even to this day, I'm constantly opening up my book, so to speak, and learning. So you don't ever stop learning, which is great. But I could get licensed and up and running within a reasonable period of time with some dedication. So I did. And it's been, I've tried a lot of different things in the past that I thought, oh, I'll probably like this, and I didn't. But this really speaks to who I am on a lot of levels. And I have proceeded to go through and be a certified life coach, but I'm defined now as an empowerment coach, helping people to reach their dreams and reach their potential. And now I'm in school for integrative nutrition, which is a holistic health course for health coaching. And so these are just things that I've added to my wellness practice. And I still want to stay one-on-one. I know that financially, if I wanted to scale and do podcasts, and maybe that's in the future. But for right now, I really have a thriving practice where I'm thoroughly enjoying what I'm doing, and I can still do music. As a matter of fact, it makes music a lot easier and better because I'm not relying on it solely for my income, even though I'm doing well at that.
That's fantastic. And I bet you are just wonderful at what you're doing. And that's very cool. And you do this mostly on the South Shore?
I travel pretty much down the Cape. I go to Florida. I'm licensed in Florida too. Wow. I'm mobile. So, depending on how I schedule things, it could be pretty much anywhere in Massachusetts, but generally I'm pretty booked up. So it tends to be either on Cape Cod or on the South Shore. Yeah.
So is there anything else that you'd like to add to this?
Yeah, well, I just think, as somebody that tries to be inspirational to others, I would encourage, there's so much out there on the internet that was not out there even 5, 6, 7 years ago, that, really anything that you want to find out about or do, if you're seeking out a coach or you're seeking out somebody to help you to learn about something, or if you're having an issue, if you're in a toxic relationship, if you want to understand how to self-empower, there are so many wonderful coaches and keynotes and and tutorials and information online. I just want to encourage people to explore that nobody has to stay where they're at. And there's help and there's encouragement and there's groups and there's a lot of support out there. So that's what brought me to be able to start my journey. So I just wanted to remind people and about that.
Right. And maybe, that will take us, or whoever is seeking that, back to that more authentic place too. So, and that is our theme. And thank you so much for being with us. You're an inspiration on so many levels. And
thank you, Jenny. And you are to me too. I mean, you're somebody that just continually reinvents and explores and doesn't really let anything stop you from learning and discovering and experiencing and creating. So, you're an example of the message that you're spreading now. So I have to say that.
Thank you. So that little piece I mentioned about being an art teacher and how kids change when they're 8. So I think basically I'm probably still about 8 years old, which enables me to.
Right, exactly. And, we never stop.
You have to keep that childlike awe about life, because the minute that gets stamped out, So anyway, that's where it's at. And
that's exactly it. So it's the self-judging thing that can really paralyze us. So, there are a lot of ways that happens. And there's a lot of ways that we free ourselves to be able to be creative. And, it's a learning curve. We need more emotional tools in our toolbox. And once we get a few, we can update, just like a computer program. We can just kind of update our software and get back to being creative. And like you say, in a state of awe. There's so many wonderful things out there.
There sure are. Okay. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Jenny.
Don't bother me with reality.